The search for hidden planets in our solar system has fascinated astronomers for more than a century. By the year 1900, astronomers had identified 7 additional planets beyond Earth, bringing the known total in the solar system to 8. But not everyone believed that this was the full count. In 1902, an American astronomer named Percival Lowell made a bold suggestion. He proposed the existence of a 9th planet, a mysterious and unseen body lurking somewhere beyond Neptune. At the time, Lowell wasn't just searching for new planets. He was also deeply invested in proving the existence of intelligent life on Mars. This may sound strange today, but during the early 20th century, many scientists genuinely believed that Mars could be inhabited. They observed patterns on the Martian surface through telescopes, what appeared to be lines and canals, and interpreted them as possible signs of civilization. Lowell, like many of his peers, was convinced that intelligent Martians might be living on the Red Planet, and this fueled his deep exploration of our solar neighborhood. To better understand Mars, Lowell needed to fully grasp the dynamics of the entire solar system. His studies led him to detect strange anomalies, especially in the orbits of distant planets like Uranus and Neptune. These oddities hinted at an invisible influence, something massive tugging at the outer reaches of the solar system. Could it be another undiscovered planet? Driven by this mystery, Lowell began an intense search in 1905 for what he believed was a 9th planet. He called it Planet X. But despite his passion and dedication, Lowell would never find it. His search ended with his death in 1916. However, the idea he left behind didn't die with him. Another American astronomer would take up the quest. That astronomer was Clyde Tombaugh. On February 18, 1930, Tombaugh finally discovered the elusive object that had haunted Lowell's imagination. This new celestial body was named Pluto, and for decades it was considered the 9th planet in our solar system. Yes, Pluto was once known not just as a dwarf planet, but as the famous Planet X that Lowell had predicted decades earlier. So why revisit all this history now? Because it appears that history might be repeating itself. Astronomers today are again noticing strange patterns in the outer solar system, signals that suggest something large and hidden may still be out there. The mystery has returned, and the hunt for another 9th planet is back on. However, finding such a planet at the very edge of our solar system is no easy task. Even with today's powerful telescopes and deep space observatories, locating planets that far out is extremely difficult. The objects are so distant and reflect so little sunlight that they are almost invisible against the blackness of space. And there might be more than one undiscovered planet beyond Neptune. Some astronomers believe there could be several, waiting to be found. This brings us to the modern theory about what's really going on, and it involves something known as the Kozai mechanism. This is a concept in celestial mechanics, a field of physics that deals with how objects move in space. The Kozai mechanism, first described by Japanese astronomer Yoshihide Kozai in 1962, explains how the orbits of celestial bodies change over time, especially when they are part of a gravitationally complex system. To understand this, picture a system where one large object is orbited by a second smaller body, and both of those are influenced by the gravity of a third, distant object. This configuration is known as a hierarchical triple system. In such a system, the Kozai mechanism can cause the inner orbit's shape and tilt to change in a rhythmic, back-and-forth pattern. Specifically, as the orbit's eccentricity, how stretched out it is, increases, its inclination, its tilt relative to the base plane, decreases, and vice versa. These changes happen because of the conservation of energy and angular momentum. The entire system balances itself in such a way that when one orbital characteristic shifts, another must adjust to compensate. Over time, these changes can become quite dramatic, leading to unusual orbital paths that wouldn't normally occur without the influence of a large hidden mass. This effect is especially important in the study of trans-Neptunian objects, or TNOs. These are small bodies, minor planets, dwarf planets, that orbit beyond Neptune in the outer reaches of the solar system. Some well-known TNOs include Pluto, Charon, Eris, and Sedna. These objects don't just drift out there randomly. They're part of complex systems and are often influenced by gravitational forces we haven't yet fully accounted for. In many cases, TNOs are affected by the Kozai mechanism because of their gravitational interactions with larger, more distant objects. These forces can warp their orbits over time, making them more elliptical or tilting them dramatically out of alignment with the solar system's main plane. Sometimes, these changes become so extreme that the objects are ejected entirely, flung out into interstellar space, or drawn in dangerously close to the Sun. The study of how the Kozai mechanism affects TNOs gives astronomers valuable insights into the structure and evolution of the solar system. It helps us understand not just where these objects are now, but how they got there and what kind of forces shaped their journeys. Most importantly, it helps identify gravitational fingerprints left behind by unseen planetary bodies. In 2010, two astronomers from the California Institute of Technology made a discovery that revived the mystery of Planet X. They were studying the orbits of TNOs and dwarf planets and noticed something very strange. Some of these objects appeared to be grouped into clusters. Now, this is incredibly unusual. Objects in space, especially ones as far away as TNOs, should generally be spread out randomly. But in this case they weren't. They were tightly grouped in specific regions of space, almost like they were being herded into place. This behavior hinted at the presence of a larger body, something massive and far away that was influencing the orbits of these TNOs through its gravitational pull. The discovery renewed interest in the possibility of a ninth planet, something significantly bigger than Pluto, maybe even 10 times the mass of Earth. The area where many of these TNOs are found is known as the Kuiper Belt. This belt is a wide ring of icy objects that lies just beyond the orbit of Neptune. It's incredibly dark, reflecting almost no sunlight, which makes it one of the most difficult regions of the solar system to study. Its origin is still a major mystery in planetary science. Why does this region exist? What formed it? And why are certain objects in the Kuiper Belt behaving as if they're being controlled by something unseen? Some astronomers believe that a yet undiscovered planet, orbiting far beyond Pluto in a long elliptical path, is the key. They call this object Planet 9, not to be confused with Pluto's former designation. Planet 9, if it exists, could explain why certain TNOs are grouped the way they are. Its presence could also shed light on the overall structure of the solar system and help solve long-standing questions about how everything formed. But finding Planet 9 is no easy task. If it's out there, it's incredibly far away, perhaps hundreds of astronomical units from the Sun. 1 astronomical unit, or AU, is the distance between Earth and the Sun, about 93 million miles. So if Planet 9 is 300 or even 500 Australian dollars from the Sun, it's more than 30 billion miles away. At that distance, it would reflect so little light that even the most powerful telescopes might struggle to detect it. Still, astronomers haven't given up. They continue to scan the skies, analyzing the orbits of distant objects and running simulations to predict where Planet 9 might be. The search is slow and methodical, but with every new piece of data, they get closer to either confirming or disproving the existence of this elusive world. Based on current models, astronomers believe that if Planet X truly exists, it's located incredibly far from our Sun, so far that it's hard to even grasp. Scientists estimate it's at least 20 times farther from the Sun than Neptune is. To put that in perspective, Neptune's average distance from the Sun is about 2.8 billion miles. That's already mind-numbing, but Planet X? That's on a whole different level. Neptune takes 165 years to complete a single orbit around the Sun. If Planet X is really out there, its orbit would be so massive that it could take anywhere from 10,000 to 20,000 Earth years to make one complete revolution around the Sun. Think about that for a moment. A planet that takes longer to orbit the Sun than the entirety of recorded human history. That vast distance makes it nearly invisible with most of our current instruments. Back in 2014, scientists ran complex calculations and concluded that if Planet X does exist, it's probably somewhere between 2 to 15 times more massive than Earth. Its orbit could stretch anywhere between 250 to 1,500 astronomical units away from the Sun. For reference, 1 astronomical unit is the distance from the Earth to the Sun, which is around 93 million miles. So now imagine something 1,500 times that distance. It's so far away that even light takes hours to get there. Given all these factors, it becomes clear why finding this object has been such a challenge for astronomers. But scientists haven't given up. In fact, they've been narrowing down the search. One group has been using the PanSTARRS system, the Panoramic Survey Telescope and Rapid Response System, which scans the night sky in a methodical, detailed way. So far, this team has managed to eliminate around 80% of the possible areas where the planet might be hiding, based on prior mathematical predictions. That's real progress, but 20% of the search area still remains, a vast, dark frontier that might hold the key to unlocking this cosmic mystery. However, there's new hope on the horizon. Another powerful observatory is about to join the search. The Vera Rubin Observatory, also known as the Large Synoptic Survey Telescope, is currently under construction and is expected to come online in January 2025. Astronomers are optimistic that once this telescope is operational, it will be capable of spotting Planet X almost immediately, assuming it's actually out there. This observatory is being specifically designed to capture wide, deep images of the night sky with unprecedented clarity, speed, and coverage. It's like bringing a flashlight to a dark forest after searching with a candle. Interestingly, some researchers have proposed that Planet X might not be alone. An astronomer named Man-Ho Chan from the Education University of Hong Kong suggested that Planet X could be surrounded by as many as 20 moons. Each of these moons might be around 62 miles in diameter. What's more intriguing is that they could be heated by tidal forces generated by Planet X's gravity. This tidal heating might raise the temperature of these moons to around -280 degrees Fahrenheit, which sounds freezing but is actually significantly warmer than the typical temperature in the Kuiper Belt, which averages around -370 degrees Fahrenheit. This kind of tidal heating isn't new in our solar system. A similar process happens with Jupiter's moon Io, which is the most volcanically active body in our solar system. Io's internal heat is generated by a gravitational tug-of-war between Jupiter and its other moons, stretching and compressing its interior. If Planet X has similar gravitational interactions with its own moons, those moons might also be warm enough to emit faint radio signals. Signals that could potentially be picked up by the Rubin telescope once it begins its operations. That's one way scientists hope to confirm Planet X's existence without having to see the planet itself. Now, let's return to something we mentioned earlier, the possibility that there might be not just one, but two hidden planets beyond Neptune. This theory leads astronomers to a region even farther than the Kuiper Belt, the mysterious Oort cloud. This massive, spherical shell of icy objects is thought to lie at the very edge of our solar system, stretching from a few hundred billion to several trillion miles from the Sun. It's so far away that it's almost in interstellar space. And within this vast frozen frontier, scientists think another hidden world could be waiting. How did this theory even come about? An international team of researchers ran simulations to understand the chaotic early days of our solar system. During that time, swirling clouds of gas and dust were colliding, merging, and forming the planets. In the process, some large chunks, maybe even planet-sized ones, were flung far away by gravitational interactions. These objects might have escaped the Sun's influence completely, becoming rogue planets drifting in interstellar space. But some may have barely remained tethered by the Sun's gravity, settling into long, distant orbits in the Oort cloud, where they've been hiding ever since. This idea isn't just theoretical. Astronomers have observed similar rogue planets in other solar systems. Although it's unlikely, it's still possible that one or two such planets formed early in our solar system's history and got pushed out into the distant cold. But there's another even more mind-blowing possibility. What if the Sun actually captured a wandering planet from another star system? In fact, some researchers estimate there's about a 7% chance that a Neptune-like alien world was gravitationally pulled into the Sun's influence and now quietly drifts at the edge of our solar system in the Oort cloud. If that's true, then Planet X might not be a native of our solar system at all. It could be an alien visitor that's been here for billions of years. But even if it is out there, its distance is so immense that it wouldn't affect the orbit of Neptune or other known planets, at least not in ways we can currently detect. This makes it even more difficult to find. It might be like trying to detect a candle burning on the moon from Earth. And then again, what if Planet X isn't a planet at all? What if it's something far more exotic and strange? Believe it or not, some physicists have proposed that Planet X could actually be a primordial black hole. This idea was partly inspired by the late Stephen Hawking, who believed that these types of black holes, remnants from the early moments of the Big Bang, could exist. They could range in size from a single atom to something as massive as 100,000 suns. According to these physicists, the hypothetical Planet X could actually be a black hole about the size of a bowling ball. Yet despite its small physical size, it would have an immense gravitational pull, enough to influence other celestial bodies in the outer solar system. This would explain a lot. A bowling ball-sized black hole would be incredibly difficult to spot using regular telescopes. It wouldn't reflect light or give off a visible signature. But its gravitational influence could explain why other objects in the Kuiper Belt seem to be behaving strangely, almost like they're being tugged by an unseen hand. It could also explain why decades of telescope surveys haven't turned up any planet. If Planet X really is a black hole, we wouldn't see it, we'd only see its effect. That's the mystery astronomers are still trying to solve. So where does that leave us? Right now, all we have are models, computer simulations, and a whole lot of curiosity. There's still no physical evidence. No telescope has definitively spotted Planet X or a second planet or a primordial black hole. But remember, the same was once true for Pluto. 4 years, People doubted it existed, until it was finally discovered. The cosmos keeps secrets well, but humanity is persistent. With new telescopes, new data, and fresh eyes on the sky, the mystery of Planet X may one day be solved. Until then, the hunt continues.